Frost and rolling. All right. Our speaker tonight is our old buddy and our old brother, Dr. Rick Statler. He did this down at New Beginnings, and I recognized right away this needs to be more reviewed and more spread. So basically, he's going to be doing his version of TikTok. I'm going to bring up his PowerPoint, and then him and I just introduce him a little bit there. Rick has been in practice since 1984, been around for a long time, expert in pediatric care, and has done a whole bunch of different things. But this particular talk I thought was really genius because he takes really simple stuff, the alphabet, and basically turns everything into chiropractic. So, Rick, the floor is yours, buddy.
Hey, well, thank you. It's a pleasure to share this. Some of you guys know me for the TikTok and the nickname Tickmaster Rick. I really believe in speaking chiropractic and in ways that um, people can comprehend, people can copy, and then people can communicate to others. There's always something in my office that we're doing that's talking chiropractic. So right now, you might not be able to see it, but I'm wearing a shirt that's embroidered that says chiropractic, that says subluxations don't take vacation. So this is perfect for this time of year, and we're talking about, we have a board up that we put and we write down summer subluxations, whether it's road trips or Ferris wheels or roller coasters, gardening work, tossed by the waves. People write on it, and share that idea of what can cause a subluxation. That we're constantly speaking that language. I can recall a story of a young boy, 9, 10 years old, who gets up, and I have an open suggesting environment, and he gets up and he writes on the board mosquito bites. Patients are going like, mosquito bites, and he turns around and basically gave me says, yeah, mosquito bites. You know how it gets itchy and it irritates you, and it's just such an irritation. But what do you think that's doing to your nerve system? So, if kids can get it, we can have, others. So tonight we're talking about how to TikTok. Okay, and where's good. All right, so how did it begin? And the TikTok and the chiropractic volley. To me, it's a volley of somebody says something. How can I volley that back in a successful chiropractic way? So there was a point where my mentor at the time, Coach CJ, was talking about visiting a super successful chiropractic practices and looking for common denominators. And he went to one that was a massively successful practice with a single doctor. He was adjusting several hundred patients a day. And Dr. Mertz was surprised, taken aback, and even confused when he met the doctor because he described him as a very unassuming, quiet, reserved, and even nerdy, dorky, somewhat homely kind of guy. He expected a very dynamic, vibrant, and outgoing doctor. He met this chiropractor who did not play or follow sports, did not have any hobbies, was not involved much in his community, did not go out and just went to the office, enjoyed being with his family. He did have a specific practice management orientation that other factors, he did not have a specific practice manager that he belonged to that could account for his success. So CJ noticed that this chiropractic spoken did not have a base to engage in the conversations. He only spoke chiropractic. When he asked his chiropractor, the chiropractor responded that other than chiropractic, he was not very educated or worldly. He was not very eloquent nor a good speaker. So he kept things short and talked only about what he knew, chiropractic. All I know to talk about is chiropractic. When I heard that story, it hit home with me. And I said to me, how would this look like for me? And from there was born the concept of the chiropractic volley, and TikTok was born for me there. So why TikTok? If we don't define and explain chiropractic, patient or others will define it their way, not our way. How do we talk TikTok? Keep it simple. Keep it at the table talk. People remember analogies and comparisons. Talk. People, patients want to talk. Who do you let control the conversation? Them or you? And pattern interrupt. Use that. When people start going off somewhere, whether it's politics, religion, just learn this phrase. In this house, we talk chiropractic, and then move into your TikTok. So just remember that. In this house, in this office, I like saying house, but in this house, we talk chiropractic. Um, so TikTok, communicating chiropractic in seconds. It's not a conversation. Get in and get out. Keep it short and simple. 2 sentences. Say less, mean more. Historically, the best messages are analogies and short thoughts. Think of Gandhi's phrase, live simply that others may simply live. Don't dilute it with additional talk. Let them lock on to what was said by keeping it simple and short. Practice in your head. Something comes up, you don't have an answer, you don't have a tip. Write it down, think about it later. Um, use a dictionary to practice. Go through a dictionary, find a word, make a tick out of it. Practice with staff. At break review, at break, review the talkative patient and where to insert chiropractic. So somebody was talking a lot. I asked my staff, what were they talking about? And then find it. So a lot of my staff, even the new ones, can talk better than most chiropractors because we role play it. Don't talk too much. Keep it short. Don't dilute it. Keep it strong. So anatomy of a tick. How can we, if we look at a tick and we want to break down the parts of a tick, all right? We've got a tick. We've got the head. We've got to get into the patient's head. There's a biting mechanism. It's kind of like injecting the venom, inserting chiropractic into their bloodstream. The body, the bulk of the tick, the bulk of the message. What is it that we want to convey? What are we holding on to there? And the legs, how does it travel? Because you want to make the message simple enough for patients to retain it and repeat it to others. So here's just a couple, just kind of going down. Um, you know, this will be available that you can look at it yourself. But just looking at anything that comes up, attic. I just went A through Z. Attic. The attic makes me think chiropractic. The attic is at the top of the house. Our nerve system is at the very top of the body. Most people have no idea of what is. Dryer. Okay, without heat, the dryer's main function is to go round and round. In chiropractic, we have the safety pin cycle. It goes around and around and explains chiropractic. Another time you can explain the safety pin cycle. Elephant has a trunk that delivers nutrients to its mouth. Chiropractically, we have our spinal trunk that delivers nutrients to our body and nerves. An elephant has the main memory, so does the nerve system. Gravy is the extract or essence of something greater. So it is with our life source. Our innate intelligence is the gravy of universal intelligence. You see, take those things at a later time and then talk innate intelligence, universal intelligence. You're putting something out there that gives that. Okay, Hellman's mayonnaise, is much like chiropractic. There's a historical formula for success, and it has several key ingredients. Chiropractic, the 3 key ingredients are science, art, and philosophy of chiropractic. Holocaust. You can take anything and make it a tick, bad or good. Holocaust. It's tragic how a society can have such apathy and misunderstanding for the loss of life and function. Today, most of society has apathy and misunderstanding how subluxation causes loss and function of life. Bingo, we brought it there. Meatballs. Any Italian knows that the best meatballs are done by hand and with lots of love. Basically, done by hand and with lots of love is the description of a chiropractic adjustment. And new beginnings. Our office just came back from a seminar called New Beginnings. This is probably one of the best descriptions of the effects of a spinal adjustment. What do we got there? Quack. Okay, the sound that a duck makes, not to be confused with crack, the sound that some people attribute to the chiropractic adjustment. But when things crack, they break, and when adjusted, they are fine-tuned. Riot. We hear a lot of that stuff now. It's a word. Disorderly movement or flow of people, much like subluxation, which is a disorderly movement or flow of our nerve system. This can be destructive and cause problems. Visitors make me think chiropractic. has moving parts that are hinged and move and precisely move together. This is so much like the individual vertebra of our spine and how they function. Unicorn, a mystical, magical creature that once roamed the earth. Patients consider their chiropractic mystical and magical, but thankfully, chiropractors truly do exist and are not extinct. Whirlpool, a strong force that moves in a circular motion. This is like the chiropractic safety. Here we go again. Zipper. How many times have you know, had a patient stand up and their zippers open, right? Turn it into a tick. A zipper is like chiropractic. There are these quickly interlocking parts that can move, open and close, but if it's kinked or bent, it gets stuck and does not work. That's what happens if you're fine. Let's get you adjusted. So that's a kind of an A to Z things. People have asked me one day, I'll make a bathroom book of everything you can think of, every word, and turn it into a tick. All right. Closure. End your tick with a future thought. We'll talk more about that at your next. By the way, their language. Are people there for a visit or are they there for a so really catch yourself, when you say visit, change it immediately to adjust it. That's what we do. You visit your aunt, your uncle, whatever, chiropractic, it's an adjustment. So ending with future thoughts. You want to be thinking more about chiropractic. What other ways can you relate chiropractic to your life? Can you share that thought with your family? Will you share that thought with your family? Will you share that thought with others? Will you share that thought with others? Or who will you share that thought with? What if you had started chiropractic earlier in your life? Where should chiropractic start? Birth, childhood, first injury. These are great conversational. So holidays, you can pick without talking. What is your office messaging? Like I had just said, I had the subluxations don't take vacations. That concept that the subluxation is always there, always, working to, interfere with that nerve flow and that functioning. So, what is your office messaging? Make it be chiropractic. Now, you'll have it here at the seminar. I did it this way, so photos. So these are examples of things that put up in my office. May there be a generation of children on the children of your children getting adjusted. Obviously, what holiday is after? Anybody? Okay, so that's for St. Patty's Day. Good family health is more than good luck. May your home be filled with laughter. May your pockets be filled with gold, and your spine free from subluxation. So these are things as far as the holiday. Here's one that I'm particularly proud of, because this one goes back more than 30 years ago, to the early 80s when I first opened my office. Martin Luther King Jr., and this was a school type of thing that you write on, and I just, wrote something on, and I still have that poster laminated. I too have a dream that one day all new people subluxation immediately after birth. That chiropractic will be judged by its character and content for healing, not by the discoloration that medicine has created. So, that's one there. Here's another one. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. How do we make that a tick? A subluxation anywhere is a threat to health everywhere. I did have somebody say to me, well, just like 2 years ago, isn't that appropriation, with all that going on? And I immediately interpreted, absolutely, yes, it's appropriate. Martin Luther King was a champion of freeing people from the effects of slavery. And chiropractic is the champion of freeing people from subluxation. That person didn't go any further on that conversation. So here we go. Reverend Martin Luther King. These are things that are up there, and we put Dee Dee and BJ as their visionary message. This is one that my daughter did when she was in grade school. So even my daughter got into this. Cinco de Mayo is about liberation, not libation. Chiropractic is about subluxation, not medication. So things like that. Then, there are many holidays of renewal. Easter, Vaisakhi, Holi, Purim, Osage, Eid, Visak, all of these are, spring holidays. Um, and, again, I put this up as a sign, for your nervous system. Every adjustment is like a holiday of renewal. And just patients relate to this because in that list right there, you're going to have some patients somewhere who fit into those holidays. So here's another one, obviously Valentine's Day. If you truly love someone, do you let them go home with supplication? Here's my favorite. IRS means I'm really subluxated. So tax time is stress time. Anything I think of a holiday becomes a tick messaging. And then when you're talking subluxation, have something that you put in that person's hand. Corin still, Ted still has wonderful brochures, and we go through, just a massive amount of these. So when I say things like that, and somebody cannot tell me succinctly what subluxation is, I put that in their hand and tell them, come back and tell me what a subluxation is. That's all right. Again, another child, making a young child. This is a Josie. There, I see her name. Um, this is the children, writing things for us to put up. This was a big one, especially through the COVID. Another reason to get your family adjusted. In the background there, the young girl saying, "Mommy, what is an immune system?" And the mom says, "Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory, darling. We don't use those anymore." So this would open up dialogue about why chiropractic was needed through the whole COVID era there. All right, President's Day, Election Day. If a chiropractor were president, sickness and drugs would be a thing of the past. This was a CJ Mertz T-shirt. So, chiropractic birthday, we definitely get that up there. Again, translating, these are things that, we see, but these are decorations, for September for chiropractic birthday. You know, look at this chiropractic association. They even got license plates in Kentucky, the Kentucky Chiropractic Association. How is that? I mean, that is powerful. If you don't know it, in 1957, chiropractors sponsored several of the Indy races, even having some of the history of chiropractic. And these are things that go up during chiropractic birthday week. Yes, this is a picture of, one of the times I did the DD impersonation. And actually, that was something that a patient took on their own to get the frame, take the pictures, make that, and send that to. So patients get involved. Anytime it's somebody's birthday in the office, we put up decorations, and we use that too for decorations. Speaking chiropractic, that's one of the kind of photos when I do DD. Give that message. All right, Groundhog Day, fun day. I probably have more decorations for that than you can imagine, but just all these messages, about Groundhog Day and how I relate that, to their health. So all of these type of things, so, and, sometimes my ADD mind really goes out there. So what is the scientific name for groundhog? Mamata monax. What does mamata momax and subluxation have in common? They both have 12 letters. Both are predictors of the future. So sometimes, patients look at that and they, they get a chuckle, and, we really can take into conversation about these things. They're practical. Okay. This is another message board on my, wall. And along with that, of course, we've seen this. Do we have it up in our office? And this too, we all have that, where some people will feel an immediate change, others it takes a while. So something there that reinforces those messages. So what is your office messaging? How do we make it speak chiropractic? You know, life is made of seconds that come together. Chiropractic is made of ticks that come together. Like each adjustment, every tick builds on and adds to the prior one. So let's see where we are. What's next there? All right, where are we, John? So I think that
That was the end of the presentation.
okay. So
You had
we
these other
have some
three that you
other.
wanted.
Sure, we have some other things. If you want to show some of those other ones that you have, John.
I got them up. I got them up
Okay.
ready.
All right, so pull one up so we see it, because I'm not seeing it.
Hold on a second. Let me do this again.
So some more recent ones that we have here.
Hold on. Hold on.
So I think we have graduation would come up.
Yep. Hold on. There it is.
All right, so literally I made, and you can print them up yourself. You buy the cards and then you can print them on your printer. So when people are talking about graduation time, we're handing these cards to people, right? You know, looking at schooling, elementary, middle, high school, college, and above. Well, how does that relate to chiropractic? Crisis care, reconstructive care, maintenance, wellness care. What grade level do you seek? Don't get left behind. You know, so there's different levels of learning and there's different levels of chiropractic. You know, where do you choose to be, you know, with that, you know, and depending on the person, I might get pretty bold. 7-Eleven, you know, we use it as kind of a holiday, saying 7-Eleven operates 24/7, never closing down. That means 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's how our nerve system should function. Don't let subluxations close you down, get adjusted. And I happen to be right down the road from 7-Eleven. And so, you know, we put up decorations. We wear T-shirts that say 7-Eleven, you know, that type of thing. Um, in July, and you'll see this here, you know, where I wrote why this office celebrates chiropractic in July. It's not July 4th, it's the whole month. And we talk about bringing chiropractic to America. It's an American original, you know, and even the quoting here, we hold these chiropractic truths to be self-evident that all are created equal with equal opportunity to health, and they are endowed by their creators certain unalienable rights, including healthy, happy, and lengthy life. When in the course of human events, one succumbs to less than optimal health, the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them the opportunity to reconnect to their unalienable right to heal respectfully through chiropractic. You know, so it depends how strong we want to get philosophically. But some patients love that message. You know, it's just a strong, strong message. Right now, I don't have a clip of it. I have a card that we made where we've got Rosie the Riveter on one side and somebody else with a wrench, talking about Labor Day was dedicated, you know, in the creation, or Labor Day is dedicated to the 40-hour work week. But our nerve system is dedicated to 168 hours a week, 24/7, you know, 7 days a week. And then, you know, a message on the bottom about, you know, don't let interference, you know, minimize, you know, what you can accomplish, you know, so whatever it is. But these are just examples of TikTok. And I know I saw Mark Levitan up there. You still with us, Mark?
He's got himself muted and
Oh,
his
okay.
video up. So
But anyway, some of the guys on the line here know me where we'd go out to eat.
Yeah, I'm here.
And hey, Mark. So I was saying like how we'd go out to eat and people would throw out any word and I'd have to throw a tick back. So I'm gonna invite everybody to unmute themselves and then just throw a word at me. And let's see how I can turn it to a tick in real time. Mark, you start.
Memory.
Memory is amazing. There are many types of memory: long term, short term, and you know it's the same thing on our nerve system. We have long tracks, we have short tracks. All of them can be affected by subluxation. They can hamper our body's ability to do what it remembers to do.
Nice.
I got one. Blossom.
Blossom. So the thing about a blossom is potential. That you start from a flower that's compressed, and under the right circumstances, it can open into its bloom, into its full expression. That's what we want from every child, every person. Civilizations can actually restrict that blossom from opening up, restrict that person from blooming to who they are, just like shortage of water and nutrients to prevent that plant from blossoming.
Anybody else throw something out there from?
Knucklehead.
Okay, knucklehead. Now, you know what? The first thing I think about when I think about that, if you're a Harley man, you're on a motorcycle. And a motorcycle has a fine degree of balance. You have to have a certain balance to not fall over. Our nerve system coordinates that. If we don't have good balance between our sympathetic, our parasympathetic, all the different branches of our nerve system, we collapse, we fall down, we're less than optimal. It's not a good ride through life. Head makes me think of motorcycles, Harleys, and chiropractic.
Very good.
It's a wonderful exercise. I remember reading through this PDF after you sent it to me. It's a wonderful exercise to get yourself clear on just how to communicate. That's why I wanted to have him on tonight.
One of the funny stories was I had gone to a seminar, and it was in Philadelphia. So it's a decent drive from New York to Philadelphia, and there were a couple of students that hitched a ride with me going down there. And so the entire ride from New York to Philly, all I did was teach these students, and their heads were blowing and exploding. One of them was actually talking about how to get a ride home with somebody else. But years later, one of them ran into me and said, that changed the entire course of my chiropractic career. I just not, every time somebody says something, I'm like, how can that be chiropractic? How can I make that chiropractic? And so that's where I look at, this lecture of TikTok, of how to turn it in. And the more that you do it, the faster you become. And you know what? Not always great. Some of them are kind of crappy, maybe.
Some of them are bad dad jokes.
What's that? Like dad jokes?
Some of them are bad dad jokes.
Right. And so you write it down, and then you give some thought to it, and you think about what might be a better response next time, so that you really can shoot from the hip right away with a tick, on anything that comes up. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to share, TikTok with you, because it is a thing that I particularly love, speaking about chiropractic.
Rick, this was one of the more valuable ones because tomorrow can be different if you want to do this. The basic thing is a lot of times people come into the office and there's so much different talk going on. And just as you started off, we speak chiropractic in this house. That's something we have to be much more clear about. Really, and little things like the word, your chiropractic care versus treatment, your next chiropractic visit versus treatment. Language is very important. And there's some stuff going on with the ICA specific to language. So you'll see more about that coming up in the next few months.
Great.
But, there's
one of my staff person, I heard them talking to somebody because they were saying something about the plumber had to come to fix the shower. I'm so proud of my staff person because she's saying, the shower makes me think of chiropractic because that water has to flow. And if there's a problem with the valve, the water doesn't come out. And that's why you're here to get adjusted, and it's really great to hear that staff person front desk, so staff can learn this too. Have fun with it.
Good idea.
Rick, I appreciate you so much. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. Anybody else?
Thanks, Rick.
Comments,
Great
questions?
stuff.
I have one question, Rick. If I break out some of the PDF pages, can I send it to the Band of Brothers people on the TikTok? So I'll try and I'll break out the pages on the PDF and I'll send them out to the group. This way you have something to play with.
Whatever you like,
Thank you very much, Rick.
Thank
Oh,
you,
you
Rick.
got it.
Hey, Davey.
Yeah. Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Good stuff, Rick. Valuable stuff.
All righty.
Oh,
All right. Everybody have a good weekend. Enjoy the Labor Day.
All
Thanks for
right.
coming on tonight.
I enjoy it.
Good
Thank you,
night.
guys.
Good night.
All right. Good night now.
See ya.